Alright, so this is a tutorial on any percent cruise boost codes in Battle for Bikini Bottom. It's similar to any percent no SBA, except, well, you're allowed to use SBA, except using it is slow, so it's recommended you don't use it, because you have cruise boosting. And getting back to that, you have the ability to use the cruise boosts, like Cruise Bubble and Bubble Bowl cheat codes to start the game with cruise boosting. So that's the difference, is that in this category, it's like what the game would be like if you could cruise boost the entire time. So I'm going to start the run. As you can see here, Jellyfish Fields. At the end of the split, we're going to have 7 spatulas and, we're going to have 9 spatulas and 7 socks. So, Jellyfish Fields, when we leave, we're going to have, see the splits, says 9 and 7. 9 spatulas and 7 socks. Okay, so to get started, you have to know how to cruise boost. It's crucial. If you don't know how to do that, you won't be able to finish learning, so make sure you pay attention and rewatch this part of the video if you need to, because I'm going to teach you how to do it. I'm going to play a video on the screen of myself explaining how to do it, so check that out. And like I said, if you need to replay it a few times to understand it, it's going to take several hours of probably practicing to be able to get it, but once you know how to do it, you're pretty much good to learn the rest of the run. So here we go. Cruise boosting is an exploit activated by using the Cruise Bubble and Bubble Bowl on the same frame against a flat surface. This flat surface may be grounded or against the wall. Cruise boosting is a crucial tactic for speedrunning Battle for Bikini Bottom, as it increases speed and makes stationary moves mobile, allowing the stringing of actions together to gain more distance and climb tall surfaces. In this tutorial, I'll explain why cruise boosting works and how to perform the trick. This trick works on all versions of the game. If you struggle, it isn't because you're disadvantaged, it means that you need to get the hang of it. Note that if you're playing on the GameCube version, the game binds the cruise bubble attack to the analog portion of the left bumper, not the digital button underneath the bumper. Let's start by explaining some fundamental information. The speed of the cruise boost will be determined by how fast you're moving on the first frame of bowling, which is the frame you'll activate the cruise bubble on. Cruise boosting against a wall or stationary flat ground will only boost your speed slightly, as Spongebob hardly moves on the first frame of the stationary bowling shot. To achieve a cruise boost viable for speedrunning, we must first understand how the game's engine determines bubble bowl speed. Notice how a running bowling shot covers more distance than a stationary bowling shot. This is because bowling speed stacks onto how fast you are moving immediately before the bowl. We can apply this knowledge for achieving a fast cruise boost. However, we must first build speed to capture against a flat wall. How can we build speed when Spongebob is quite literally walled off? Well, moving from side to side is still a method for building speed, but that doesn't fulfill the criteria of being against a flat surface. We need Spongebob to perpetually face the wall to capture the speed at which he walks against it. To do this, perform a normal cruise boost against the wall. You should use the backside of the candy machine and rock bottom to attempt this. As you walk into the wall, activate the cruise bubble and bubble ball in the same frame. Note that the window for doing this is 1/60th of a second, so it'll take some time to get it down. Note that performing the bubble bowl and cruise bubble on the same frame will cancel the animation you're used to seeing for the bubble bowl. However, you will hear the sound cue to know you've done it. Cruise boosting on PlayStation 2 actually doesn't produce this sound, however you can do the trick just fine. The winding sound will continue until you reload the level. If the noise becomes unbearable, just do that. After you've activated your first cruise boost, note the direction in which Spongebob is drifting. Pull the control stick to the opposite direction in which Spongebob drifts and activate another cruise boost. If you did this successfully, Spongebob will have captured the speed that you gained from sliding against the vending machine. If your speed increased yet didn't become quite as fast as the one in the video, you must refine your control stick angle. Pushing more forward to the wall will decrease your sliding speed, while pulling more to the side will increase your sliding speed. Be mindful that pulling too far to one side will cause Spongebob to slip off the wall and perform a bowling shot. This is because, even slightly, you pulled away from the wall, removing the flat surface that Spongebob needs to activate the cruise boost on. Cruise boost makes use of bashing, bouncing, and spinning to create unique and flowing movement that is paralleled by no other game. Pick spots like these to practice activating fast cruise boost and testing your platforming skills. If you're interested in running the full game, check out the tutorial playlist I linked in the description. Thanks for watching, and remember not to give up. This stuff's a lot harder than it looks. Also, be sure to ask me questions in the comments section and let me know which trick you want me to cover next. If you found this helpful, I'm down to make more of these types of videos. Alright, so there you go. That's how you cruise boost
again, rewatch it if you need to. And if you saw the examples at the end of that video, you're going to be able to do some of that stuff by the end of this video if you bear through and watch the whole thing. So make sure you don't skip anything. Okay, pause the game. Go to the menu here by pressing the X button if you're on Xbox. Now, these cheat codes vary based on your console. You can kind of Google like Battle for Bikini Bottom, GameCube cheats, Battle for Bikini Bottom, PlayStation 2 cheats. But on the Xbox, you have to hold down the L and R triggers and go... Wait, let me think about it, because it's muscle memory to me. I have to actually think about it. It's XY, XY, XX, YY.
It's almost too pretty
and
to break.
YXY, XYY, XX.
Almost.
So it's XY, XY, XX, YY, and then YXY, XYY, XX. Those are the codes. They're different on GameCube and PS2. I'll put them in the description of the video. But those are the only two codes you're allowed to use in this category. They're the only two legal codes. So now that you have both of those, you can use the bubble bowl and the cruise bubble. Okay, I think I did it twice, so I undid it. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so bubble bowl and cruise bubble. Okay, we have both of them now. So now we're ready to start the run. So again, I'm not gonna really explain the stuff that is kind of obvious. You guys have seen this game be, speedrun before. So I'm not gonna go into detail with like how many shiny objects you gotta pick up to enter the the closet and whatnot. Alright. See, one of the nice things about this category for teaching it is that you have all your movement at your disposal at the entire time. So we can just go right to Jellyfish Fields, do the taxi disable. Make sure you do this, by the way. It's very important that you do this. All you have to do is sit next to the taxi, do that so you can accept the prompt over the taxi pad, and just go here and do it again. This should work, and you'll be able to know if it works if you're able to collect the next spatula. Yeah. As I was saying, we don't have to backtrack in this category, so you can just do all of Jellyfish Fields in one shot, all of downtown in one shot. I wanted to mention as well, you can actually use the D-pad on your controller, like I'll use the GameCube controller for an example. If you hold down, because this is the one that was in the video too, if you hold down the D-pad, like the right side of the D-pad when you do your strafe to the right or left, like this one here, you can use that to cruise boost too, and some people use that and they find it more consistent. Instead of just holding to the right with the control stick, you can just do that. So again, like you guys should, by now, like, you're going to spend a lot of time practicing cruise boosting before you get to this point in the tutorial anyway, so I'm going to assume that having watched to this point, you know how to cruise boost anyway. So, get a cruise boost over here, and again, the spots you can cruise boost in this game are, like, you can't cruise boost on everything. You can only cruise boost on certain objects, so the objects I lay out for you are the ones you should try to cruise boost on. So yeah, do that. Again, like, this is one of those areas where you don't have to get a cruise boost to make these jumps, but it makes it faster to do it, so you might as well. So pause the game, warp to Cowabungie. Again, you're gonna have to get a lot of cruise boosts in this run, so get one here. You can like kind of like do a double jump spin slam to get on top of this rock. Boost up. Yeah, just bear with me. If you're new to running this game, cruise boosting is kind of discouraging when you first start learning it, but after a while it just becomes muscle memory. So just trust me on that one. So for this jump, you're gonna go for the second closest little flower thing. So you can like jump off of this, double jump, spin, slam. The reason why we go for this one is because if you go for this one, you'll be able to see here. It's a scripted trampoline, so you can't move when you touch it. So you gotta go for the other one. And if you fail that jump, you can just jump up here, do a bash slam, and get on this thing again. Oh, I messed it up, hold on. can do a bash slam. Why is this not working? This is the one where you can do it on, right? There you go. Okay. So we're gonna jump up here. Get this sock over here. Jump straight across. Yeah, if you haven't noticed by now, this category is movement dominated. It's a very movement-based category. Much more than just doing tricks. It's like mostly movement. Alright, so you're gonna get another cruise boost. You can get it over here. Now, if you double jump on slides, like the more you're airborne, when you have slide momentum, you actually move faster. I would recommend hugging the corner here just to gain a little bit of speed, but make sure you don't miss these socks. This jump is pretty easy to make with the cruise boost. Yeah, you can just jump around this trigger here. There's like a little cutscene trigger here. If you jump too far to the right, you'll touch it, but I don't need to demonstrate it because you'll figure it out for yourself if you do touch it anyway. Make sure that you're hitting the Duplicatotron on the jump here because you want to be able to, you gotta keep in mind like shiny object pacing. You need shiny objects to buy stuff in the run, so make sure that you're hitting stuff on the way. Again, you gotta really practice getting max speed cruise boosts to make your cruise boosting effective enough to run this category for sure. Alright, so here's another spot where you can cruise boost. Just stand by this little rock here. That should be enough to get over. You can double jump spin, slam if you have to. Whatever you need. Again, this tutorial is made assuming that you are new to the game, like assuming that you're like this is your first time learning a category in this game. So yeah, I'm gonna go over some easier strats as well. Genzo, thank you so much for the Twitch Prime sub. Welcome aboard, dude. So you see this little polygon tip right here, this little geometry thing. You want to stand like right here and face this Thunder Tiki is facing right in front of me and do 2 full double jumps to grab the ledge. I should also note that like with double jumps, you can do a full hop and a short hop with jumping. So when I say 2 full double jumps, I mean hold down the A button twice. Like hold, instead of doing tap, tap. See how much lower you go? You want to hold instead. Yeah, once you've done that, if you want to get a cruise boost, you can get it off this box, but it's not necessary. Be careful with these text boxes here. You use the A button to mash out of them, so you don't accidentally get rid of your cruise boost. Again, you can get rid of your cruise boost by using the bowling attack, by getting hit by something, drowning, dying, or leaving the level. So those are ways you can get rid of your cruise boost. You'll learn quickly though, like the different ways of doing that. So you'll figure it out as you go. Okay. Jump down here and get a cruise boost off this little edge here. I would say get this, go over here on the grass so you don't have risk bringing the hand back into the run. And we're gonna do Drain the Lake. I'm pretty sure, yeah, we're doing Drain the Lake. Okay. So switch to Patrick here. And we're just gonna Drain the Lake. It's a pretty simple, casual thing. Yeah, I want to see more people get into this category, because I think it's objectively the best category in the game. I'll see how I feel about that years from now, but after playing this game for a few years, I've realized the flaws that some of the other categories have. And while like 100% and no SBA are really good categories, I still feel like this is objectively like the best with the least amount of downtime. And, you know, the biggest bang for your buck. Like, you play for under an hour, and there are no boss fights, there's no downtime, you're just constantly moving. It's really fun. Once you get the spatula, if you're on GameCube or PS2, just walk back to Mrs. Puff. If you're not on GameCube or PS2, if you're on Xbox, you can pause the game and warp to Drain the Lake. If you don't do that and you choose to walk back this way, make sure that you don't go around this area to go to the bus stop, and make sure that you talk to Mrs. Puff before you go to the bus stop. Because if you don't talk to Mrs. Puff here, if you don't warp, then you will soft lock your game. So make sure you do that before switching. Excuse me. Get the sock. Remember to do that. Remember, you need to keep in mind your shiny objects. So I always say, for when you're starting the game, collect as many shiny objects as you possibly can, and then later, once you get better at the game, cut them. Like, get rid of them later until you have barely enough to finish the run, because overshooting means that you're fine and you can always save time later. But if you undershoot your shiny objects, you're going to be in trouble. So just always do that. Yeah, this is assuming you guys know how to cruise boost, though. Like, this category assumes that you understand how that works and you're able to do it, at least like sometimes. All right, remember to get these shiny objects here. You can jump off the side, get the sock. There's another way of getting the sock. I'll show that right now. And again, guys, remember, if you're not confident with your cruise boost consistency, don't feel bad about it. When you start your first run, you're going to lose a lot of time to cruise boost no matter what you do. So just, honestly, if you can get your cruise boost within like 10 to 20 tries, you're fine, I think. Because, again, like, you'll just get better at the game as you go along. And your cruise boost will naturally get better the more runs you do. This is the alternate route for getting the sock. If you can't make that jump, you can just do this instead. Yeah, don't worry about having perfect cruise boosting when you first start off. It's not important. What's important is that you finish your first run so you get a time to compare to. And then, you know, once that's done, you can just like see where you can improve. Okay, so you're going to pause the game, warp to top of the hill. Once you do that, talk to Squidward, get the spatula, and we should have 9 spatulas and 7 socks. Very nice. Now we're going to pause the game, warp to Bikini Bottom on top of the pineapple.
Oh, I'm quick!
Very cool. Alright, so Squidward's house. There are a couple of ways you can do this. The way I would recommend doing it is jumping on top of this torpedo, jumping to the tip of his nose, and grabbing the ledge on his ear to get to the top. If you're feeling saucy, you can do a cruise boost and bash up onto the nose and get up here. There's like a way to do this. Sorry, hold on. Oh, you know what? You have to jump on here, double jump there, and then bash up. You can do that too, but if you're new and you have trouble with that, I'd recommend just doing this. Jump to the tip and jump to the ear. This is a really easy method. Oh, should I enable chat? I should enable chat. You need to have the game on the console to make it an official speedrun. Can you emulate it? Yeah, you can use Dolphin, but Dolphin's the only emulator you're allowed to use on the leaderboards. Okay, now we have 10 spatulas. We're going into downtown. Diaper. Okay. Downtown Bikini Bottom, boys. So, this category... Okay, we're going to do it this way, actually. you can get a cruise boost off of this wall. And if you turn this way, you can press the Y button to bash on top of here, get this wheel, and get this one over here. Now, when you run to approach the statue, make sure you're facing this wall so you get caught on the Thunder Tiki. See how I get like caught on the statue here? Okay, now, if you can, try to get on top of these tikis and jump across to each one. Again, don't worry about how good this is. This is kind of hard to do when you're new. Press these buttons. Now for this last one, just get rid of your cruise boost and bowl here. Because if you accidentally get pushed off the screen, then you're going to have a bad time because you're going to re-enable your hand and you're going to have to disable it again. If you happen to re-enable your hand by accident, the hand will come back on the screen, you'll know. If that happens, just go back to Bikini Bottom and do the same thing on the Jellyfish Fields taxi pad where you stand next to it and you disable it again. Okay, but once you do that, pause the game and warp to Tiki's Go Boom again. Just do that again. Okay, now that we're here, you get a cruise boost off this thing. Now we're gonna do the Tiki round again. We're gonna do this again. So get all these Tikis. The purpose of this is getting combos. So watch the bottom of the screen, how you see the combos going off. That should determine like how much money you're getting, how many extra shiny objects you're getting. Because when your combo's higher, you get more shiny objects. You can attempt to climb the statue with cruise boosting, but I find it easier to bowl to get rid of it and then climb it like this. Okay, so now you can just jump off. I'd recommend using the same side that you cruise boosted on before, just to keep things consistent and keep yourself like practiced, you know, like in the same spot to make yourself more consistent when you first start off. Make sure you get that sock. Once you do that, you can run over here and bash onto this lamp post. Oh, that's the one you can't bash on. My bad. I think it's this one, right? Yeah, so if you bash onto this lamp here, you can double jump spin, I think. There's like a way to get over this. Oh wait, we're not doing it that way. Okay, it's the trash can, so scratch all that. So okay, you're over here. You just got the sock. Now you're gonna come over this way, stand on top of the trash can and press the Y button to bash over. Simple, right? Now you're gonna do it again. Trash can over here, bash. Nice. Now we're over in this area. Now I know like downtown's kind of confusing, so I'm gonna give you like a little bit of an idea where we are. Mrs. Puff is over here, and the wheels that we got are over there. So what we just did is we bashed over this trash can. You can rewind the video if you need to. Trash can's over there. Trash can's here. We bashed over. And now over here there's a wheel. We're gonna get the wheel. Don't get hit by this guy, otherwise. So you lose your cruise boost. You don't want that to happen. So if that happens, you can just get a cruise boost over here, I think. Yeah, you can. Okay. But ideally, you don't want that to happen. Now for this trampoline jump, you can kind of like turn yourself to face this way. Make sure you're facing the right way. I would aim for that window on top of the fallen building. See the building that like right in front of you with the hot sauce in front of it? Aim for the window. So you jump spin, pretty simple, pretty easy. Grab this sock over here. By the way, if you're practicing cruise boosts and the winding noise gets annoying, you can always just pause the game and reload it to get rid of it. Grab the sock as well. Okay, now we should have enough to get into the sea needle and get rid of your cruise boost so you don't float all the way over there. This category is going to really teach you how to use cruise boosting well. That's the one really good thing it does. For the sea needle, do not worry about meeting cycles and being perfect here. Just all you gotta worry about here is just don't die. When you're a beginner, do not worry about like being perfect here and following my exact movements. There's an individual tutorial on the sea needle in my tutorial playlist you can watch, and you can go ahead and use that if you'd like. But for now, don't worry about that when you're new. When you're new, all you have to know is don't die And if you get caught under a tiki like that, you get an extra dive. So when you first start, you want to do that. Now, what I would recommend doing here is using the cruise bubble to hit this guy over here, this Chuck, just so you can't get hit by him. And I'll demonstrate the infinite bungee glitch in a second. Yeah. But yeah, all I gotta know here is if you die, you lose your you lose the whole you lose all your progress here. You gotta start over again. You gotta start from the beginning of the challenge if you die. So I'm gonna show you like when you dive. See how I don't have the option to dive? Look at the little the text box at the bottom of the screen. When I dive, I don't have the option to dive. However, if I dive and get caught under something like this thing over here, I don't even know the cycle for this thing. It's so off. I'm trying to get caught under this thing. So I got caught under, I think I got caught under the tiki at like one moment during that, but yeah. Typically you would just get caught under something, and by being caught under it, I'm still trying to show you without destroying everything. There we go. See how I got hit there? And I got my dive back? Yeah, well that time I was too low, but when you do this whole diving glitch, you want to get stuck under it, and then sorry, it's really hard to show you on like a. I'm not used to this cycle being at this point. I'm used to doing it like one cycle, so it's kind of weird experiencing it this way. But yeah, if I can just get caught under here, that should do it. All right. Yeah, I don't know. Well, you'll see when you play. Like if you get caught. Well, okay, I'll just die here to, or you know, I'll reload the level just to show you. Make sure you get that wheel, by the way. Okay, so I'll show you the diving glitch that you should know to make it really easy. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to show them, Kurt, but I couldn't really demonstrate it with the. So pay attention here what happens, like, I'm gonna hit this tiki, get caught under, and then like, see how I get caught under and I can do that. So, now if I'm all the way up here, and I use the dive button, I get infinite dives. But if I go too low, like down here, if you touch the bottom of the screen, then you can't do it anymore and you lose the glitch, so you gotta try not to touch the bottom of the screen when you do that, that's all. Alright, so, now, backtrack, rewind. It's rewind time. We just got the, why is that closed? That's strange. Okay, whatever. So, we just finished the sea needle. We got the wheel. Good work, boy. Now you get the spatula, alright? Now, if you're on Xbox, you can pause the game and warp to come back with the cruise bubble. If you're not on Xbox, then you're just gonna walk over here and use the cruise bubble over here. Now, I gotta show you as well. The way I hit that, you can detonate the cruise bubble in midair. So see what I'm doing right now? You just press the L button to get detonate it. So what you're doing is you're putting the cruise bubble behind the button. You're putting the cruise bubble behind the button, like that, and then just detonating it behind it to hit the button on the, because the button's on the rear side. If you can see that, like, the button's on the opposite side of that brick. All right. Well, now that you've done this, you can pause the game, warp back to extreme bungee. Now you're gonna go over here and switch to Sandi. And lead the scene, you know. Alright. There are cruise boost strats for this, but I feel like that's a little bit more advanced. But I can show you guys as well. Just try this first and see if you can do it. Remember to get all the wheels, by the way. So set up Thunder Tiki, hit that thing. Make sure you get this wheel over here.
There's another one.
Jump on the tip of the cannon. Glide over here to get to the spatula. Now I'll show you the alternate way of doing this with SpongeBob. So, again, like, I'm backtracking now to show you, like, how you can also do this with SpongeBob, okay? So you would lead the sea needle with SpongeBob instead of switching. Now you can get a cruise boost on this wall over here. Okay. Now there's a wheel on this side. You can jump down here, touch these things. Jump on top of this thing and bash over it because, again, like, this wall will still be intact because you haven't broken it yet, so you have to jump on this and bash over it. Now this part gets a little bit tricky. You're gonna jump up here, jump on this and turn and jump like that. If you do this, you get an extra sock, but it's not required in this route, so I'm not going to get it. I'm just showing you like what you can also do if you want to. If you happen to fall, that's not a huge deal. You can just use this to get back up. You can like bash on top of this little light post thing. Jump on top of the bank. Like that. Because if the Thunder Tiki's not there, you can't do the jumping thing. But yeah, you just do that. You can get the sock and replace it with something else in the route if you want to. Get the wheel. Jump on top of this thing. Now you gotta, when you get up here, you have to bowl this so you don't have the cruise boost when you touch the spatula. Otherwise, you'll fall off. And if you do fall off, there's a backup strat. You can just do this. Bash up here, jump here. Just jump all the way back up. You get the idea. But yeah, just to clarify, only do that if you really, really want to. If you have fun doing it, I guess, because you know, like, what's the point of playing if you're not having fun, you know? But yeah, this is the way that you should attempt to do it first. Just make sure you can do this first, so you have a backup in case you can't do it. And remember, there's a bus stop right over here, in case you can't. So like, if you talk to Gary and you like come up here and grab, like, switch to the bus stop, you can switch between characters here if you decide which one you want to use at the last minute. Yeah. Make sure you get the wheel. That should be over there. Should be good to go. I'm gonna go over strats for rooftops as well, both Sandi and SpongeBob. Alright, so however you need to, just make sure you're SpongeBob here because you have to be SpongeBob to press the button. This jump is pretty simple. All you need to do is jump on the trampoline and do a double jump. And then a spin, and then another double jump. If you go too high, like this, you get invisiwalled here, you get walled off. So you gotta make sure you're going pretty low. Just kind of get the movement down. Now, at this point, if you're doing this as Sandi, you're gonna just jump down here, switch. Yo, Archer, thank you for the 3 months. What's up, dude? Welcome back. Hope you're doing alright. Jump and glide and aim for this Texas swinger here. Now remember, we're doing rooftops with wheels, so make sure you get the wheels. I had a long day at college,
Another one.
so I'm kind of tired. Also, I got like 2 hours of sleep last night, so yeah, it's not looking too hot. If you get this checkpoint, just be careful not to pay the climb. If you can't make this jump straight to that building, you can just jump here if you need to.
There's another one.
Alright,
Well,
so
I suppose it'll make Patrick happy.
jump up on this thing and grab the sledge, or jump over the ledge if you have to get into the slide. If you do that, you can get this wheel.
Another one.
You jump straight back to that platform. If you miss the platform, not a big deal. You can just jump and grab the sledge. All right. So I'm pretty sure you can make this jump. If you double jump and glide here, yeah. You can do that and get the sock that's over here. Alright, so now that I've shown you how to do the rooftops as Sandi, I'm going to show you how to do them as Spongebob. Okay. Now remember, if you have trouble doing this, do not force yourself to do it if you don't want to. It is kind of difficult for new people to do. Alright, so you want to get a cruise boost over here. So you would jump up, do a similar thing except like you spin, you only spin instead to get this. Now once you get this, you would jump down. Again, there's a sock up here. If you do want to do it this way, you can just get the sock and replace it with something else in your route. Might be there. This jump is kind of tight. This is the reason why I say, like, don't force yourself to do it if you don't want to. But you would get the sock. Sorry, I'm really trying to avoid it so it doesn't mess up my my numbers on the screen. But you wouldn't be trying to avoid it if you were getting it, you know. So you double jump, spin, slam to get across here. This jump is kind of tight, so remember, if you can't get a fast enough cruise boost to get over, don't worry about it. Now this part's a little bit more advanced. So you're gonna jump into this little pot here, so you got the checkpoint. Now there should be a wheel over here at this point you can collect. There should be a wheel here. When you do that, just jump off the side and die.
Barnacles.
And then you'll respawn over here. Here. So now you can cruise boost off of here. Remember, you have to do that part to get the wheel. There should be a wheel up here. As you remember, there's a wheel here. There should be a wheel down here and a sock over here. Now that you've done this, there's like a strat you can do here that's a little bit easier, but there's nothing here that's really that easy. So I'll show you a few ways to do it. If you jump on top of this little rod here, you can just kind of slam up. Again, that'll happen sometimes. But there's like a little part you can like bash up on to get on top of that thing. Sorry, I'm like really rusty with this. Why am I not getting this? Again. Okay, so you can do that. Another option is like this, double jump, ledge grab. You can like grab this part and like go through. I'd probably recommend this as opposed to that one, because this one's kind of weird. You have to jump on that one for it to work, by the way. But yeah, this one's a little bit easier. So you're up here, right? You turn around, double jump onto this, double jump onto that, get a ledge grab here. Now you're up here. Now this part is where it gets a little bit more tricky. So you're gonna jump and try to get to this little pipe and stand in it just to like kind of like, I guess, pace yourself. Now there's a pipe on the opposite side right here that you're going for. See that? So I'll do it all in one motion. And when I get to that pipe, I'm gonna use a bash to get on top of the conveyor belt and use a slam. So, again, if you die there, you have to jump down and do this again, unfortunately, because there's nothing to cruise boost off up there. So, here we go. Do a double jump. Again, I'm clipping there just by doing like a single jump into the wall in that little corner. That's all you gotta do. It's a little bit of a jump. Okay, so double jump, spin. Bash, slam. That's all you gotta do. Now, if you're Spongebob, you can actually jump across and get the sock that's back here. But remember, you still have to get the spatula. So you get the spatula, do a little slam on this button, and now go into the lighthouse, and you're good to go. Cool. Okay, now lighthouse. Yo, Gecko, thank you for the 22 months, man. Welcome back. Alright. So, lighthouse. This jump gets a lot of people tripped up. So, what we're going to do here is do a full jump. Get rid of this guy. Full jump, short jump. So, full jump, short jump while pushing into the wheel. Like that. You can jump back and get up. As I mentioned in my NSPA tutorial, there are two ways of doing this. You can like do a back jump to grab onto this thing here, and do a double jump spin to get the sock. Again, we're doing this to get the sock. Remember that. So full jump, short jump. Another way of doing it is using a bash. Again, the reason why we're doing a bash here is it's not because it looks cool. You can use the bash to turn yourself without moving. So when you jump up on top of this door, you do a bash to turn around, double jump spin to get the sock. Now for this, I'd recommend hitting the thing and just like pacing yourself, look down to make sure you know where the next one is. 3, 4. Now on the 5th one, you're gonna turn the opposite direction. Okay, well this fucker is gonna... Anyway, you turn the opposite direction, and you jump down and hit this one. And make sure you touch this thing to get the shiny objects. If you don't, you're gonna be in a lot of trouble. As a matter of fact, because you have the cruise bubble, if you miss that, you can just stand next to it and use the cruise missile to break it. But you don't want to have to do that. You just want to be able to walk across. Now for this clip, you walk between these electric beams and jump to get the wheel. Pretty easy. You want to get the shiny objects. You know, helps a little bit. Alright, so you have all the wheels, 17 spatulas. Pause the game, warp to end of the road. Now you're done. You have 18 spatulas now. Once this collects, you have 18 spatulas and 13 socks. As you can see on the split file, 18 and 13, you're good to go. Pause the game, warp to Bikini Bottom, and split.
Quick!
Yeah, I wanted to give you guys a lot of options there because a lot of people like the flashy downtown movement in this category. So I wanted to still teach it, but give you guys the option not to do it if you can't do it. It's not a problem. All right, moving right along to Squidward's house. All you gotta do here is just destroy everything in his house and jump 10 times. Don't worry about like advanced stuff here, really. I want to crowd your head with like unnecessary information to save like 2 seconds or some shit. Yeah, add sub splits if you want to. I just find that most people don't have split pedals, so I don't really do that. I don't encourage sub splits unless you have a split pedal by your foot. All right. Now, let's see. Yeah, I'll teach the glide in this. Fuck it. I just dropped an input on that. I was holding down the A button, it didn't fully register. Alright. Alright, it's glide time. Before you do the glide, you want to first probably get rid of this guy. Get a cruise boost on the side of the tower. You can like bash up onto the tube to get the suck. Okay, now you can get rid of this. And again, I explained this in my recent tutorial as well for NSBA. What you're looking for here is you see those little red dots on the sand. There's this one red dot that's like under his belt buckle. Now take a look, there's another one there. When I zoom out the camera, you'll see there's one that's right below it. See that one right there? Okay, so what you're trying to do is line it up like this. So the red dot, so both red dots are under his belt buckle. And you see this, the button, the red button in the back, like the one that's in my view now at the top of the screen, but that the hammer robot's under. That red button. So you want to put this red button. See how there's a crate on top of the stack and there's one to the bottom right of it? You want to put it between, like, see how it's to the left of the left crate and this is now to the right of the right crate? You want to put this between both crates that are on the top, kind of like this. You see how it's covering the one crate? See how it's covering the one crate? And like it's like kind of between the one that's on the top row and the one that's on the top, on the second to top row. You want to put it right in between, like kind of like that, just so it's kind of covering it. Again, like the angle is not really too precise. Now, the thing I see most people mess up with this is turning and then jumping. Just remember that like when you turn in this game, he kind of does like a full circle around, so to prevent that from happening, you have to jump and then turn. See that? That's how you increase your precision from jumping, is if you hop and then turn. So we're gonna do that. The motion here is 2 full double jumps, a spin, double jump, and then a slam. So we're gonna do 2 full double jumps, spin, just to start off. Just like that. And again, keep in mind, again, I'm jumping and then turning. You have to do that for this to work, alright? So double jump, spin, delay your slam for a little bit, and you should get stuck to the tower. I'm gonna do that again, don't worry. I'm gonna explain my movements. Okay. Again, line it up. Remember what we do? Line up so the belt buckle is above the red dot. Put them both under the belt buckle. The tower button should be between the 2 crates. And when you double jump after getting hurt by the goo, delay it just a little bit so you're not just doing it as fast as possible. Try to follow my rhythm. Try to follow my rhythm and my pace when I do this. All right. So you double jump, delay, and slam after you touch the tower. Just a little bit after you touch the tower, and you should get it. Again, this is not that hard. It's pretty easy actually. So see if that works for you. If that doesn't work for you, I'll show you an alternate method. But what you want to do here is now cruise boost off of the box. Jump up here, destroy this robot, and you can jump across like this. Alright. Now I'm going to show you an alternate method for the sponge glide trick. If this method does not work for you, there's another method you can use. There's another one, so I'll show you that right now.
Hey guys, welcome back to my tutorial series for Spongebob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom speedrun strats. I was really pleased with all the positive feedback for the cruise boost tutorial I just uploaded, so thank you all and I hope the practice with it is going well. This time we're going to cover Sponge Glide, the go-to trick to blow people's minds if they've never seen a speedrun of this game before. This trick is used to skip to the end of Goo Lagoon Pier from the beach, allowing you to complete the entire world in reversed order. Unfortunately, this trick only works consistently if you run the NTSC version of the game, because the PAL version's lower frame rate makes the falling slam behave differently. A clear indicator of which version you have should be the box art for the game. Check in the upper right corner of your box art for the version. It'll either say NTSC or PAL. There is another version of this trick that works on the PAL version, however I'm not going to cover it in this video. I might cover it at a later date though. Another noteworthy difference is that on the Xbox version, the cliff and the tower have different collision properties, which makes the trick harder to pull off. The setup I'm teaching here was developed for the Xbox version, but it also works on the GameCube and PS2 versions because it's way less precise on those. To make this perfectly clear, as long as your game says NTSC on it, it will work on GameCube, PS2, and Xbox. All versions work as long as it says NTSC. First and foremost, make sure you disable the hand before attempting this trick. Just sit on the side of this taxi pad, confirm the text box, do it again, you should be dragged into the loading screen by the hand. It should be disabled at this point, which means you're ready to set up the glide. To begin setting up the trick, face the tower and position Spongebob's right foot against the inner part of this red circle on the ground, like so. Now notice the bus stop in the background. Turn your camera from this position to place the bus stop in the exact spot that I have it here. Once you have this exact vision, you're ready to perform the trick. Also, if you're running on Dolphin Emulator, I highly recommend you make a save state for yourself in this position if you know how to do that. That way you can just reload if anything goes wrong. The first part of performing this trick is crucial and where many people mess up, so pay close attention. Jump, then turn after your jump has been performed. If you turn before jumping, Spongebob will reposition himself and your setup will be ruined. Practice jumping and turning in a straight line to get a feel for it. Then continue to the next step once you feel like you're getting as much distance as possible and also jumping in a straight line. Also, make sure you're holding down the jump button fully to get maximum height out of your jumps. For the next step, the farther your jump goes, the faster your glide will move. Jump, turn, double jump, and spin to land in the goo. After Spongebob reacts to being hit, hold down the jump button to perform a double jump into the tube. If you do this correctly, you should reach around this height on the tube. Finally, slam at the highest point you touch the tube, right before Spongebob starts to descend. You should get stuck on the tower and start floating, and if you have a good angle, you should be able to land on the island cliff and have the ability to jump to the surface once you land. If you're getting this weird jittery motion on the tower or just falling straight down, it means one of three things. Your angle was bad, you turned before jumping, or you slammed at the wrong time. Figure out which of these happened to you and keep trying until you get it. I recommend recording your attempts and playing them back to help yourself figure this out. On the Xbox version especially, there are several areas on this cliff that will instantly kill you if you land on them. This is because the time it takes for Spongebob to finish the slamming animation is too long for him to be able to jump out of harm's way. Although there are some instances where you'll be able to get a precise bash to save yourself if you land in a danger zone. I recommend just mashing the bash button if you happen to fall here during a run. The second glide is easy. Just stand on this red line.
Alright, you can, I just cut it off there because that next part is not relevant to this category, so you don't have to worry about it. But I'll do it again like the first way I showed you. I think this method is a lot easier. It's also way more useful if you're trying to do other categories, but yeah, remember. Cruise boost here. Destroy the robot and just jump across. Now, if you're doing the category, if you're doing it the alternate way that I showed the video for, you'll land like right here, right? If that happens, just use the cruise bubble to hit the robot from the opposite side. That's all you have to do if you do it the other way. And then once you do that, just get a cruise boost off here. But either way, you should be here. Regardless of which method you choose, the robot should be destroyed. You have to destroy it. Make sure you do that. Either way, you should be here. All you have to do from here is just double jump spin into the pier. Just jump into the loading zone and you're good. That's it. Alright. Let me read my notes. Okay. Now, in this category, you can just use the bowl to snipe out the robots, which I like a lot more. It's a little less skillful, but makes it less annoying to deal with. Okay, make sure you avoid this checkpoint, by the way. Just jump straight onto this thing here. Yo, what's up, kid? We're doing a tutorial here. You can drown in this goo. You should be checkpointed here. Jump in this box. Switch to Patrick. Now over here you want to wait for this, see this spin bot in the background by the tent. Wait for it to go away from the tent, like past the picnic bench. Hit this thing, get the tiki, throw it at the thing, and you should be good. Just a little cutscene skip here. Alright, now we're ready to go to this area back here. Yeah, this stuff is pretty self-explanatory. Okay, so you might have troubles making some of these jumps. I recommend, by the way, slamming on top of this to make sure you get your full combo before warping. This is pretty easy, but it's failable. If you just walk off the side here and double jump, that's the easiest way of doing it. If you fail this though, you can just kind of like die in here and go for it again. So again, face the camera down, walk to the left, pull right, and double jump, and you should make it. Pretty easy. Now once you do that, pause the game, warp to King of the Castle. So now because you have the cruise bubble, you can just kind of just walk over here by where this red shiny object is. See how you get a little bit of an auto target here if you go far back. Just hit this invisible button. Now you can get a cruise boost off of this wall over here. Do your bash up. Now you can just jump over here. And what do you know? A spatula. Alright. 24 spatulas and 18 socks. Pause the game, warp to connect the towers. Now talk to Larry. And this is why you had to get the robot earlier on the top of the crates back there. Because you get a spatula for doing that. So now you have 25 spatulas and 18 socks. Good to go. 25 and 18 socks. So now you're going to pause the game. Scroll down to... actually, you're going to scroll to Bikini Bottom. And split.
Oh, I'm quick!
On top of the pineapple. Alright, so this is I'm going to teach you how to do a skip that skips the Poseidon level. This skip is kind of stupid. If you can't get it, I'll show you a different way of doing it, but that method risks bringing up the hand again. So if you re-enable the hand during this, just do the same thing where you like lay next to the taxi pad to disable it again, like in the beginning of the run. Okay, so this is the cool part. This is the part where you skip doing the boss fight that takes a long ass time to do. But you want to get a fast cruise boost against this. Like, make sure it's a really good one. Now, the way I set this up is I go around these tikis here and this little tree and run facing directly into this this cliff here. So now what you want to do is just hold down the jump button, slam without giving analog input, and you should glide into it. Now if you turn your camera back this way, so like this is what happens sometimes. This is why I say it's stupid, because sometimes you get this shit where you keep floating. If that happens, you just pause the game, warp back to the pineapple, and try again. Yeah, this is kind of a dumb trick. Yeah, again, like to set up the angle, run around the tiki, run around the tree, go up here. All I'm doing here is just holding down the A button and then slamming when I get to the top. That's it. If that happens, just kind of like go here. Make it so you're flat against the wall, so you're not moving left or right. And again, like it's dumb. You want to kind of have yourself facing flat, but sort of slightly moving to the left. So it takes a little bit of time to get. Again, like run up to this thing, hold A, slam. You want to have like kind of drifting to the left. Turn it to look to the side a little bit. Sometimes that helps it work. Again, it's really dumb. This is only one way of doing it though. There are other ways of doing it.
Hey, Spongebob!
Oops, I forgot to do the thing where you run around, but yeah. If that doesn't work, you can just like run into this until you like level out. Do that. Turn it so you're like facing to the side or backward. And what do you know? You popped, you landed. Again, I'll do it again just for you to see. Watch it on like slow motion. Pay attention to like how I'm sliding against the wall. Again, like don't get frustrated. It's a dumb trick. It's kind of random whether it works or not. Okay, remember. See. Again, like when I'm floating, I'm not giving any analog input. I'm hands free. So just don't overcomplicate it. Don't make it, you know, more than it has to be. Go around the tikis, around the tree, push forward into this wall, full jump slam. Now, again, like hands free. Didn't work. Try it again. Again, if you run around these things, it should help you a lot to get the right angle. Turn the camera. See that? And again, like I was not. As soon as I got to the right position, I was not giving any analog input. It was hands free. So that's how you skip Robo Sandi, and I'll show you another way of doing it. This one is a little bit harder in my opinion, but it's more consistent if you're good at it. So to start off, make sure you're jumping before you touch the red line, otherwise you're going to lose time because you can only stand on the sand for 5 seconds before you start to, before Spongebob gets taken. So you want to make sure that you're, you know, not spending too much time on the sand, so jump before you touch the red line. And you just got to kind of follow my movements, like this. And like that's all you do. And you would kind of just jump around here. And then jump to the opposite side to get to the tree dome. One thing to know about this is you have to time your bash. If you bash as soon as you clip through, then it's not, like, you're not, I'll show you what happens. You just kind of get stuck like this. Well, that time I didn't get stuck, but yeah, it's kind of hard to show what I'm talking about because I just had the muscle memory for not failing it. But yeah, if you bash too early, then you'll be having an issue. Just make sure that you're jumping before you touch the red line. Fall, bash, pull in. Make sure that you're staying off the sand, because the sand will kill you if you stand on it for more than 5 seconds. Make sure that you get on top of the green as soon as possible, because the green is good, the sand is bad. Just know that. Green is good, sand is bad. And remember, if you re-enable your hand by accident, like if you get grabbed by the hand at any point, it means your hand got re-enabled, so you gotta re-disable it by doing the taxi pad glitch. But I'll show off. I recommend the glide method if you can do it. It's a lot safer if you're new. You don't have to risk disabling. You have to risk re-enabling your hand again. So again, like so. No hands. There we go. Alright, now that you've done that, just go to the tree dome. Alright, so now, once you have the spatula, go over to this over here, this door, and leave the tree down that way. Okay. So now we're going to go on top of Shady Shoals. You can bowl this thing and start making your way over to the staircase. Now we're going to do some cruise boost block platforming. Jump on this trampoline. Now, if this block is the lowest point, you gotta wait for it. You can like bash up to get to this here if you want to, or double jump, whichever one works for you. Just as long as you get it. Now, I would recommend getting this underwear in here if you want. It's helpful to have it. But all you're gonna do here is just jump over this ledge. Pretty easy. That's it. Now this part is a little bit more tricky. Try to face this wall so if you bash up you get stuck on these nails or these bolts that are in the side of the sign. You can like get up here and now you can jump to this side here if your jump spacing is good. You can get on top of the buttons. Now this part's a little bit weirder. So you're gonna pull to the side, double jump, and pull back, double jump again. Bash to get on top. So I'll show it one more time in one full motion. If you can't do that, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. You have the cruise bubble button option. This is actually the casual way of doing it. This is how you're intended to do it. You hit the 3 buttons and the trampoline comes up. Yeah, so you're not like at a loss if you can't do it. It's fine. You can just do that and you're fine to go. Good to go. All right. If you can't get that spatula that way with the bash, just know that you can do this instead, the wall jumps. Now you're going to pause the game and warp to on top of the chum bucket. I don't know how much time it loses, but it's an option. If you're new, you shouldn't worry about things like saving or losing time. You should really just be worried about like getting your first run done to find areas of improvement. So if you do your first run with that other method with the buttons, I would recommend like the first thing you do after you finish is like try to learn the new strat try to learn the faster strat so you can save time off of it. So you talk to Mr. Krabs, pause the game, and warp to Infestation at the Krusty Krab. It's the only silver spatula in the menu. Now just complete the fight. This one's a little bit more complicated than Treatum. So you hit this robot, and when you stand on this Thunder Tiki, make sure you run away so you can see how it goes up and it destroys that sleepy time. You can watch it again if you need to see it again. But yeah. Now you're going to double jump and attack that thing as quickly as possible. Again, like at this point you have the cruise bubble too. If you have to use it, you can just use it if you need to. When all the robots are gone, pause the game and warp to Bikini Bottom. You should have 29 spatulas and 18 socks at this point, so you warp to Bikini Bottom.
Oh, I'm quick!
Great Barrier Reef! Phew, you had me.
Hey Chungo, thank you for the Twitch Prime sub, man. Welcome aboard. Thank you for the subscription. Enjoy the emotes. Dream is going to be a little bit harder, I think, for you guys. I'm going to start off by teaching you Super Bounce, which is one of the harder tricks in the run, I think. So you want to start Super Bounce by bowling onto this slide to get some acceleration. You got to bowl on the edge of it. This is how you do it, just for reference, so you can see how you get that. So I just wanted to show that once. So now you know what we're doing. Now I'm going to explain to you how to do it. Just remember the concept of using full jumps and short jumps. You have to hold, it works on slides too. You have to hold down the A button to make sure you're maximizing your jumps. So bowl on the slide to get some momentum. So max jump, max jump. You jump on the edge, you can get the trampoline. I'll show you again. This time, I'm gonna. Okay, so when you land on the side of the block, you know, I'll just show you. Yeah, I know, Chungo, it's weird. It's dumb. So I'll show you again, but this time I'll show you how to not do it. So you go here. See how I jumped too late? So think of it this way. When I touch the block, I'm already like in motion sliding down the block. So by the time I touch the block and my brain can react to when I touch it, I'm already down here. So you want to be up here when you jump. So what you have to do this enough times to be able to build the muscle memory to know, so your brain knows before you touch it, like when you're going to collide with the block, so you can jump the instant you touch the block. Because if you just watch the block and wait for yourself to fall on it, by the time your brain registers that the thing has already touched the block, by the time your brain registers that Spongebob has already touched the block, you're already down here. So you have to anticipate touching the block, and it makes this trick a lot easier. So let's try it again. Again, like I'm going to do this, and I'm not gonna jump when I see myself touch the block. I'm gonna jump when I see myself when I know I'm going to touch the block based on my experience doing it. Like I'm gonna anticipate touching the block. See? Now another thing. I'll show you another thing that commonly goes wrong when you do this trick. Here's another one. So what happened there, think of it logically. So there are spikes on top of the block, right? If you push into the spike block to get on top of the block, you're gonna get hit by the spikes, because the spikes are not just spikes on the top. Like the hitbox is all the way around the spikes. Like even on the side of the spikes, if you touch the side of the spikes, you die. So you gotta avoid that by when you jump on the edge of the block, you need to pull back just a little bit, just so you don't touch the block and get over it. So we're gonna touch the side of the block. I'm not gonna push forward so I can jump over it. Again, when you touch, as soon as you jump off that block, do not push forward until you're over the spikes, okay? Do not push forward until you're over the spikes. That's all you gotta remember. So again, pull to get acceleration. That time was not very good. Anticipate landing, double jump, and then push forward after you're over the block. If you can't get this, another option is doing this. Now, this is honestly pretty viable if you can't really get this to work. It's pretty easy to do. You just instead of going over to the blocks, you just jump down here. Don't be like me and fall off the edge like that. But if you pay for this clam, it spawns a trampoline that sends you up all the way up there. So it's only 1,000. And if you can't do the trick and it's taking you too long to do it, I would recommend buying the clam in your first attempt, and then like later like working on getting this trick down after you do your first run. Yeah, again, if you need to do that, to make up for your shiny objects, you would just go back to Tiki's Go Boom. Do you remember the part in downtown where we jumped on top of the Tikis to get the combos? We did that twice. The little Tiki stacks that are around the statues. Just do that until you have enough money to pay for it. See, that time I didn't anticipate it. So like you would remember, like you need to have a lot of shiny objects to finish the run. So if you pay 1,000 to buy that clam, then you should try to replenish it with an extra 1,000 somewhere else. Let's get the spatula now. We're gonna go into Squidward's dream. Now, this one might be a little bit harder for some people. Get your cruise boost. I'm gonna do it once and then I'm gonna explain what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm gonna do that one more time. This level, excuse me, that's muscle memory right there. This level is kind of hard if you're new. I'm gonna be honest, but I believe you guys can do it. I believe in you guys. It's a really fun level to get down. You gotta really focus on jumping to the center of the trumpet, and then like once you bounce, immediately pull out. Otherwise, that'll happen. Like you'll get stuck under it. So get your cruise boost again. Like the tambourine platform, the tambourine jumping pad that I'm aiming for is on a cycle based on when you load the level. So the more you miss your cruise boost, the more off cycle it's gonna be. So you just gotta kind of do it until you eventually get it. It's just platforming, really. Just a test of your platforming skills. Wait for this trampoline to be over by the edge, and then do double jump slam. Again, this is one of those things you should really just try to iron out and practice a lot. If you can't do this, you can always just go up the notes casually. It doesn't take that long. But yeah, it's an option if you have to. This is probably the hardest part, is getting on top of this, but after you get on top of that, it's honestly pretty easy. You can like stall it here to wait for the trampoline to get over. It's a little bit of stalling. It's pretty easy. And by easy, I mean hard, so don't feel discouraged if you can't get it right away. It's one of the hardest strats that I'm teaching today. Okay, once you get that, pause the game and warp to Super Bounce. Now, Sandi's Dream. I'm gonna show a little video. It's gonna teach you how to do Sandi's Dream. So, kids, I'll be back in a little bit. You get to watch a video. Okay.
Sandi's Dream is probably the largest level in Battle for Bikini. And remember, if you fall into the void at any point, you can just...
Did I mute the wrong thing again? Okay, well, we'll just play it again, no problem. Sorry.
Sandi's Dream is probably the largest level in Battle for Bikini Bottom other than Flounder Hill, and in this video I'll show you how to skip to the giant acorn in under a minute. But first you're going to have to disable the hand to travel out of bounds in this level. To do this, just lay out of bounds next to the taxi pad in Bikini Bottom with a camera angle that'll cause the hand to pull you into the prompt. Accept the prompt, lay in the same spot a second time, the hand should drag you into the loading zone, causing the hand disable. Now we're ready to skip Sandi's Dream. When you load into Sandi's Dream, swing to the slide and try to run along the left side of it. Once you reach this point of the slide, hook a sharp right into the direction of the acorn and perform 2 double jumps and begin gliding forward. You'll need to space your jumps well and know that holding down the jump button produces a full jump, rather than simply tapping to perform a short jump. So space 2 full double jumps and then begin gliding. Make sure you don't wait too long to start gliding either, or you'll miss the area on the acorn where you need to land. And if you start gliding too early, you can still recover. Just let yourself fall and kick toward the acorn. This should stall Sandi in the air long enough to land on the side. You can't use the kick twice though. Only the first kick will stall you, and the second will cause you to descend. Once you've landed, make your way to the left side of the acorn. Jump up to this area on the purple shaded area of the acorn, and from here you just want to mash the jump button to get up as high as possible. What you're aiming to do here is trigger an invisible checkpoint that will respawn you on top of the acorn when you die. Typically, you should look for Sandi's helmet to be completely stuck under the upper part, which means you probably got it. Now once you've done this, drop to the slide and make your way to the manure truck because you're going to death warp on it. When landing on the truck, make sure you glide over to it, because landing on it without gliding will cause the slide momentum to knock you off the truck. Sit on the truck until Sandi's health depletes and you die. If you did the trick properly, it should respawn on top of the acorn where you can collect the golden spatula. If you fail, you'll spawn on the starting platform where you enter the level. And remember, if you fall into the void at any point, you can just reload Sandi's Dream and try again. A good place to add this to your speedrun route is in your first visit to the Dream area. It's the same speed regardless of whether you do it before or after Industrial Park. And it's good to have spatulas like that before Industrial Park because you can collect 40 spatulas and acquire the cruise bubble faster this way. If you want to go ahead and learn some...
Did the previous tutorial on Sponge Glide also have mute? Like, was that also muted, or did I mess that one up as well? Because if I did that, then that's not too good. Was that one muted as well? Alright, I'll take your word for it. But yeah, you should know how to do this trick. If you watched the video, it's explained it pretty thoroughly. Super free.
Where the real action is. Hey,
Alright, once you've done that, pause the game and warp to across the dreamscape. Now, this is the rest of the dream we're doing here. Get rid of this jellyfish to make it easier for yourself. Cruise boost. Now, I'd say zoom in your camera first off. It's really important that you do that, by the way. So when you get the spatula, when you collect it, you don't fall off. So you're gonna do a full jump. Mash the Y button and slam to get on top of there. Now, have the spatula in view. Now, what you're gonna do is bash, slam into it, and turn the camera so it faces away from the pineapple. So try that now. Bash, slam, turn it away from the pineapple. Okay, I messed up. I know there's a strat there where you can like get it stuck, so it spins around in a circle, but I don't know how to do that. I go for a faster strat where you get stuck on the rock, so it's a little bit riskier. But if that happens to you and you fall off, just pause the game, warp back to across the dreamscape, and just go for it again. It's not a big deal. I can't really show it again because the spatula is already collected, but yeah, you like pause the game. Like, there's like an angle you can get if you zoom in. Maybe you face this way, it'll spin you around so you don't get stuck. I'll show you how to do it for the next one though. I know this will work because I showed it in my other tutorial as well. Make sure your camera's zoomed in for this, by the way. It's very important. I'm so dumb. I need to go to bed, man. Alright. Get rid of the guy over here. Camera's zoomed in, so you should get stuck just like that. Now you're gonna go over to Patrick's stream. Once you're in Patrick's stream, you can just unzoom your camera whenever you want. Now you have 36 spatulas and 18 socks, so you're gonna pause the game, scroll up to top of Shady Shoals, and go up there.
I'm quick.
Now Rock Bottom has a lot of content in it, so just bear with me. Doing this skips a little cutscene that happens when you walk up to the taxi pad. Saves like a second, just go for it, because it's not hard. Yeah. Okay.
Welcome to the
Best place to cruise boost here is a candy machine. When you see a text box, use the A button to skip it. Don't use the B button, because that's how you get rid of your cruise boosts. If you're on Xbox, at least. Use the B button for Bubble Buddy, though. When you talk to Bubble Buddy, and like do some basic cruise boost platforming here.
scavenger hunt 3 years running. Thank you.
All right, man. Peace out. Thanks for watching. Now I'm going to show you a really easy way of doing this. Just do a little bash here, turn around, and voila, you have the box. Just jump in. Very easy. If you have trouble doing that for some reason, if that's a little bit too hard, you can always just pause the game. Once you get the spatula with the purple shiny object under it, warp to swing along spatula. Why do you use the B? Because he talks to you for more than one text box. Like, he has like more than one text box. A good question, though. He talks to you from multiple text boxes, so it's not as fast to press A. Because for the other ones, you just press A and it's over. Alright, so how to do this is Sandi. You just do the same thing pretty much. Sandi has the gliding option, though, so it's a little bit easier. And also, you have to switch to Sandi anyway, so you just do that, you jump in. If you're not Sandi, go to the bus stop and switch to Sandi. If you are Sandi, just go straight here and get this the spatula here. I should mention, though, if you're Spongebob, going to the bus stop, change to Sandi, make sure that you get rid of your cruise boost before you do it, because you can soft lock sometimes. I've seen people soft lock on that bus stop from not getting rid of their bowl, from not getting rid of their cruise boost. Yes, so press the B button to get rid of it with a bowling shot, and you should be fine. So now you're gonna just go under here, get the sock that sticks under here. Alright, just kind of follow my movement. It's pretty, you know, basic stuff. Now when you get up here, pay attention to this tire for second to the left of the screen. The one I'm facing right now. When it goes through like that, when it goes through the wall like that, start gliding to it and grab the ledge right here. Okay. Be careful not to fall, because if you fall and you get checkpointed, the only way, by the way, this is an invisible checkpoint over here. You want to get this invisible checkpoint in case you do fall. If you get checkpointed down there, there's no way back up, so you would have to pause the game, warp to the swing along spatula again to go back to the museum and do that again. Make sure you touch these because they give you a lot of shiny objects, but touch it after you get like to this point so you don't get blown up. Now pay attention to this tire here. You know what? Wait, why am I made a video on this. Just watch the video. Fuck. Come on. Think.
The Rock Bottom Museum is a pretty slow and tedious button presser and a cutscene fest in casual play. In the speedrun, we can clip through both laser walls and skip to the end of the level. In this tutorial, I'm going to explain how to do it and give some tips on improving your consistency. Before we begin, I want to bring up the concept of maximizing your jumps as I covered earlier in the series. If you hold down the jump button, you'll get a higher jump than if you just tap it. This is especially important for the first part of the segment, so keep that in mind. Now let's get started. To start, you're going to want to enter the museum as Sandi. After you reject the text box, you can climb up these objects to reach the turret and jump to the second level of the first area. After that, you can make your way up to the third level, where I highly recommend activating the checkpoint in case you fail this part during the run. Now stand on this railing and watch the center tire swing back and forth through the laser wall. When the center tire swings from your side and completely clips into the other side, double jump and glide toward the left side of it. If you time this well, you should be able to grab the tire and clip to the second area of the museum. This is because characters cannot experience knockback during grabbing animation. As long as you're grabbing for the time it takes for the tire to swing through the wall, you'll clip through. Make sure you pay attention to where your character is and do 2 controlled double jumps and a glide toward the tire to your left once you pop through. Control is important here because if you panic and fall, you'll get checkpointed on the bottom floor and be forced to reload to the swing along spatula level and enter the museum all over again. Now in this next part, there's an invisible checkpoint on the far left side of the third level. I highly recommend walking over there to activate it in case you fall. While walking across the third level, you should avoid touching the Thunder Tikis for as long as you can, as they can explode on you and also reduce the number of shiny objects you get from the Shush Tikis disappearing from you walking by. But make sure you do touch the Thunder Tiki before jumping to this next tire, because you'll lose a lot of shiny objects if you don't. In any speed run of this game, it's very important. Now that you're waiting on this tire, you should watch the next tire swinging through the next laser wall over there. When the tire reaches this point in its movement away from the lasers, time 2 double jumps with a delayed glide, as I do here, and start gliding to this area by the laser wall. Now glide in place here and turn to face the tire as it swings back into you. Don't push into the tire or you might land on top of it. Just glide in place and let the tire fall into your grasp. If you do happen to go too high and the tire goes under you, you can just jump off of it and glide in place again as a backup. If you space this properly, the tire should swing into Sandi's grasp, causing her to grab the ledge and swing through the second laser wall. Again, you should stay controlled here because accidentally falling leaves you no way of getting back up to the third level for the artwork, and the sock if you get that in your route. That is, unless you activated the checkpoints I told you to do earlier. But even so, if you fall onto the platform with a golden spatula, you'll get checkpointed there anyway, so definitely try to avoid that if you do fall. Now once you clip through this wall, you have a couple of options here. If you get this sock in your speedrun route, glide to the left and get it before gliding to the right for the artwork on the ledge. If you don't get the sock in your route, just glide straight to the artwork, which you do need to get for all the routes of this game that I know of. When you go for the artwork, try to stay as far left as possible, because if you walk too far to the right, you'll activate the swinger cutscene and lose a bunch of time. I recommend just standing far to the left and karate chopping into it. Once you get the artwork, just jump down to the second level and collect the golden spatula. All you gotta do after that is just jump to the bottom floor and get the artwork down there. One final thing I should mention is you can collect this artwork earlier if you fall into this area by accident as kind of a recovery strap before going for the other artwork in the spatula. However, if you do this, remember to watch out for those checkpoints, because if you activate them, you can't get back up. But yeah, if you make the mistake of falling into this half of the museum, you can just get that artwork early to save yourself some time. Then you would just death warp back up to the checkpoint, continue on, and once you get the spatula, since you've already gotten the artwork from when you failed that one time, you can just go to where you're going next. This episode had a lot of things for you to
Okay, now that you guys are experts on the museum, we're actually going to get this sock in this route, so make sure that when you get off the tire, you come here to get the sock. Make sure you get the painting, and like I said, avoid the cutscene. And do not forget the art, because if you forget the art, you gotta come back and get it. There's no replacement for it, so make sure you do that. Alright, so you're gonna pause the game and warp to get to the museum once you're done with that. What's up, Peanut? Also, Phil, thank you for the resub, dude. Thank you, welcome back, man. Okay, walk over here to this little pothole, crater bullshit, missile debris thing, and use the cruise bubble to hit this button. And this spatula will pop up. Now, if you fall here, you gotta reload the level and do it again. The spatula will only be there as long as the timer is in the upper right part of the screen. As long as the 40 is there, it's good. So, it's good to go. Make sure you get the sock. And the sock after that. Yeah, pretty simple. Okay, now you had 40 spatulas. Pause the game and warp to slip sliding away. A spatula you just got, second one from the menu, slip sliding away, and you'll teleport here to skip all of rock bottom. We're gonna backtrack it now. After we collect this spatula, we're gonna do the same thing where we menu abuse it. We menu abuse it by pausing and warping to across the trench of advanced darkness. That's the spatula we just got, so by getting it and putting it in the main menu, we can abuse it. Alright, so I'm gonna show you a couple ways of getting across here. The first one is Sleepy Skip. This one is a little bit more advanced, but I think it's worth learning if you can do it. So for this one, I guess like kind of aim for the Duplicatotron on the sock in the background with 2 full jumps and then pull to the left to grab the ledge. Because if you jump straight for it, sometimes he doesn't grab it like that. So just, you know, be aware of that. Be wary. Make sure you just like set it up like this. Face that stuff. Double jump, pull to the left. You should get it. Now here, just make sure you don't fall off like I just did there. Try to double jump and spin before you get into his range, so when he hits you, you don't get knocked off. You're trying to get across, get the artwork, and you're trying to get across like this. Stand over here. Now, here, all you gotta do is like kind of like see this little like blue dot that I'm facing, like his nose is kind of pointing to it. It's like right there. It's like pointing to it now, yeah. You want to just kind of walk over here. Stand like, pause the video on the frame where I stand in it, just so you can see for yourself like how deep into it I stand. But yeah, just stand there, do a full hop, and now what you can do is either time a bash to go when you're going off the ledge, or mash the Y button, whichever one works for you. I personally mash, but yeah, you can do whatever you want. It works either way. That's one way of getting up here. I'll show you the other way now. Okay, so the other option, switch to Sandi. This option is, oh yeah, by the way, this implies that, like, this does not mean that you don't have to do this, by the way. Like, you still have to get this, this artwork that's over here. So you have to do that. Jump here. You can get the sock first or second. Well, if you're Sandi, you should get the sock that way, yeah. Make sure you get that sock. Just make sure you get that sock. If you're Spongebob, like what you would do is you would jump off there. You know, never mind. Yeah, you actually should make sure you get that sock. Anyhow. If you're Spongebob, you would have to jump off and get the sock there. And do a cruise boost off that invisible ledge. But I would just recommend doing it to Sandi, honestly. Sleepy Skip is helpful, but it's not really necessary. Also, these jumps are way easier with Sandi as well. Make sure you get that sock too. And the final piece of artwork should be back here. That should have it. Pause the game, warp to return the museum's art. You should. I'm missing a spatula. Why am I missing a spatula? Oh no. Oh. Because we actually are supposed to do lasers in this, I think. Yes, we are. We are supposed to do lasers. Okay, so when you go up there as Sandi, before you get the okay, so we'll go back to the place where we got the art. Again, we're still going over the Sandi option. I'll review the Spongebob option after. But yeah, hit this thing. Make sure you get the art. Don't forget the art. Yes, I do plan on continuing to play this game. I never stopped. I never had any plans on stopping. Alright. This is all you do. You just gotta hit the buttons now. I'll show you how to do it as Spongebob. If you do it as Sandi, you benefit from having the warp active. So like when you do this, you can just pause the game after this cutscene plays, right? You pause the game, warp to lasers are fun and good for you. Now, if you're doing this as Spongebob, well, okay, yeah, you get the spatula, right? Now, after you get the spatula, then you would pause the game, and then you would go to here, and then you would trade in the artwork for the spatula with Mrs. Puff. I'm going to show you how to do this segment as SpongeBob, though, one more time. So again, sleepy skip. You just jump here. Why did that just happen? Okay, and you jump off here. There's an invisible ledge right here. I know it's like kind of trippy, but like you can actually stand here. It's weird. But you stand here. You can get a cruise boost. It's kind of risky, but you can get it. Again, like this is a riskier strat. If you can't do it, don't worry about it. Just do it with Sandi for now. If you did this, if you haven't done this as Sandi, then this sleepy time should not be here. You can bash up, but just for the sake of, like, wow, okay. I guess I have to, I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. Okay. Well, you should be able to jump like this. But yeah, if you do it that way with the sleepy skip, this guy should not be spawned in, so you can just bash up. Now, lasers with SpongeBob, a little bit different. You gotta make these big gap jumps. Now, when you hit this button, you want to face the wall. When you're in a cutscene, you have invincibility as well. You know what? This is fucking stupid. Like, I can't explain this properly because the lasers are already hit, so I just can't do it without getting hit. It's just really annoying. Yeah, well, I should just play a video of me doing it, honestly. But yeah, first one, you hit it facing this way so you don't fall off. Go back here, get the artwork when the cutscene ends. Now for this pillar, you have to kind of like aim for this pillar in the background and use the trampoline to get to it. Now for this one, if this button is not pressed and you hit the thing this way, you'll automatically just kind of float down and end up like right here. So you can just jump across. Now it's important for this one, because you're not doing the cutscene skip strat, make sure you're facing this way so you don't fall off. When you hit it, cutscene ends, you gotta make your way back and switch to SpongeBob. Switch to Sandi, excuse me. And because the reason why I have to switch to Sandi is because SpongeBob cannot receive the spatula from Plankton yet. You have to be Sandi to get the spatula. So you have to switch to get the trigger to get the spatula. Okay, that's all you gotta do. I'd still recommend doing that as Sandi, by the way. If you want to do it as SpongeBob, fine, go for it. But I'd still highly recommend doing it as Sandi. When you do that, you pause the game, go back to here, third spatula in the menu. Get the spatula. You have 44 and 25. 44 and 25, good to go. Pause the game. Warp to on top of Shady Shoals.
Oh, I'm quick.
And you're good to go. Okay. Now you just like walk behind, you get this sponge ball and kind of like ramp up to go here. Now, this TV is random, where like if you have to hit it a bunch of times until you get the right channel, then you will get the sock.
Checkers, the king of non-contact.
All right. You can get a cruise boost here. You don't have to, but I'd recommend it. If you don't want to get a cruise boost there, I'd recommend getting it here. Okay, this is pretty easy. All you gotta do is just like run up here and bash to get up here. Now you can turn your camera to face this way, so when you grab the spatula, you'll get pushed into the trigger for the main chamber. Alright, a lot of this stuff is pretty self-explanatory, so I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. You just got to kind of follow my movements. There are only a couple of things here that really need to be explained. Make sure you get this warp in case you fall, because if you die, you can just warp to the funnel machines. If you don't get that warp, it saves half a second, but you don't get this, and trust me, like, when you're new, you're very likely to fall here, so just be careful. The reason why these tiles go away is because if you walk to the end here, the game just, you know, registers like you're done with the puzzle, so you can just walk back and backtrack and grab the thing and throw it. I'd recommend trying to practice getting this to throw on the center of the platform. If you stand a little bit past this line, it kind of works that way, where you can do that and then do it again. Alright. Pretty simple place to do this is like walking along the edge here so the cannonballs can't hit you. Wait for them to all be gone, throw it. And we got a lot of shiny objects right now, so we're pretty much good to go.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Hey, my back feels good.
Just hit everything in a straight line here. That's the pattern. All you gotta do is hit it in a straight line by slamming. Okay, there's a skip coming up called Murmular Main Chamber Skip. There is a prawn skip as well for the prawn boss fight. I'm not gonna teach that because it's more of an intermediate strat. But there is a tutorial for prawn skip in my tutorial playlist. I'll link that in the description for you guys. You can see it. Remember to get this button. If you forget about it, I'll show you a way to get it later. But yeah, make sure you get that button. Alright, I'll show you the tutorial for this thing.
This week's tutorial will cover the main chamber skip, otherwise referred to as Murmular Slide Skip. In Speedrun's The Battle for Bikini Bottom, this is used to jump from the spinning towers of power to the villain containment system, skipping the main chamber and having to shut down the security system. To start, face this direction in front of the slide and walk forward. If you have the correct angle, Patrick should slide into the corner and get stuck. Stay in this corner to build speed for around 5 seconds. During this time, pay attention to this lamp that's attached to the slide in the distance. After 5 seconds, jump to land right in front of this lamp and pull your control stick to the right to fall off the slide. Immediately after Patrick leaves the slide, perform a full jump toward the bridge in the distance. By full jump, I mean holding down the jump button rather than just tapping it in order to maximize your jumps. If you did this successfully, you should be able to delay and space the second jump to reach the gate to the containment system. As you follow over the gate, mash the trigger, button, or bumper that's used to enter. Note that on the GameCube version, entering an area is triggered by pressing the analog section of the bumper, not the digital pad under the bumper.
So when you mash on GameCube, try to mash only the top section of the bumper. I've come across people who have tried learning the skip despite having the bridge activated from shutting down the security system. And you actually can learn this trick with the bridge down. Just make sure that you're aiming for the correct part of the bridge with the gate on it. Most commonly, people mess this up by not turning far enough right to reach the trigger. This can be fixed by falling off the slide a bit more before jumping, so Patrick has more turning freedom by being further removed from the slide. Less commonly, people mess this up by turning too far right. This is really easy to fix though. Just take a less extreme angle and make sure you're aiming for the gate. And remember, when you make that first jump after building your speed, make sure you're aiming for the lamp out in the distance. By the way, this area can be pretty dark, so if you can't see what you're doing, try turning up the brightness on your TV. It sounds tedious, but it can help a lot when you're learning the skip. Murmur main chamber skip is super simple and effective. As far as I know, everyone who speedruns this game uses it. Got any questions regarding this skip or others? Leave a comment on this video or ask for help during one of my live streams on twitch.tv/shift. Subscribe for more videos like this one and other. Okay, well, I think that's all you gotta see, so hopefully you understand. Pretty simple, pretty easy trick. Okay, prawn skip is an intermediate strat if you're interested in it. It's the same thing, like you still get the same spatula, it's the same outcome. Just go to the playlist I'll link, it's in there, you can find it. But I'm going to teach you guys the beginner level strat. Make sure you walk to the same tile that I'm walking to, the same string of tiles. This one here. You just run forward, wait for him to stop. Bowl. Yeah, wait for his vape to go down, and you just hit him again. One of the benefits of this over prawn skip, by the way, is you get a lot of extra shiny objects for doing this. See how they just kind of self-destruct into the tiles? It's pretty helpful. But yeah, prawn skip saves like half a minute, so it's good to learn down the road. So, I gotta mention this too. On the GameCube version, if you do this, you have to mash out of the cutscene and pull away, otherwise you get stuck. If you do get stuck, you can pause the game and rewarp to defeat prawn. Yeah, so that's... Just, on the Xbox and PlayStation 2 versions, you're fine though, you don't have to do that. Alright. Moving right along. If you forgot the button and you realize it, you can just kind of do this with the cruise bubble. You can just turn around and hit it with this if you have to. Just a backup strat if you forgot it. Thought I mentioned that. Security tunnel. Woohoo! Alright, so there are two ways I would recommend getting up here. The first way I would recommend is this here. Make sure the brightness on your TV is high enough to see the geometry on this thing. But there's a little, there are a couple of flowers on the wall. You want to just like jump space to get to them. And not get hit by that fucking thing. As a matter of fact, this fucking die. So, I hit him. Yeah, what I usually do is I double jump spin and pull to the right here to get up consistently. That's one way of doing it. Another way, if you like cruise boosting, you can do it like this. So you get a cruise boost, jump on here, bash, slam. Make sure this turret cycle is not on track to hit you, by the way. If you stand here and like bash up, you can also climb up this way. That's another way of doing the second floor. This is how high-level players do it, but if you don't want to fuck with that, you can just do the NSBA method instead, where you wait for the turret to come and hit you. You bash into it, double jump on top of it, and get on here. Yeah, just a couple of ways of doing it. Just practice that. Just hit this button, stand in this like patch of rocks here, fully charge a bubble bowl, and aim it there. That button is kind of stupid. It doesn't work sometimes. Just make sure you fully charge it and stand from a distance to be able to get it. Yes, so there are a bunch of ways of doing security tunnel. I'd recommend either of those personally. Okay. Ballroom. Time for another video, boys. So just make sure, first off, before you do it, hit this button here. Just make sure you do that. And I'm going to show you the video, okay?
BRC, or ballroom clip, is arguably the most important BFBB discovery of 2018. Today I'll show you two different ways of doing this trick. One method utilizes the L clipping tech while the other one uses the L bowling tech. I'll explain both of those in a bit. First I'll explain the L clipping method for BRC. Start by bowling this button to drop the ball, then bowl this wheel to turn the track. Stand in this spot and wait for the ball to roll onto the track that you just turned. As soon as the ball reaches the track, fully charge a bubble ball while holding down the button until it automatically fires, and aim it at this area of the wheel. Now the ball should be turned off the track and rolling toward you. Push the ball into the corner between this glass case and the pillar. Now just jump on the ball and walk forward slowly until you land on the ground inside of the ball. For this next part, carefully walk to the right and attempt to drag the ball with you. Do this very slowly as you learn it to avoid popping out of the ball. If you do pop out of the ball, you can just roll it back to the corner where you started and try again. Once you and the ball have reached Mr. Krabs, face the glass case and perform a single cruise boost. If you don't know how to cruise boost, you can check out my tutorial on it linked in the description, but you're just going to use the bubble bowl and the cruise bubble on the same frame against the case. If you're on the GameCube or Xbox version, a continuous winding sound will play if you've done it successfully. But just to clarify, you can still cruise boost on PS2 even though you can't hear the winding sound. And yes, cruise boosting and ballroom clip both work on every version of the game. Make sure that you walk toward the case, and while you're doing this, input the cruise bubble and bubble bowl at the same time, framed perfectly, to activate the cruise boost. If you're familiar with my cruise boost tutorial video, you don't have to do it twice. For this trick, you only have to do the inputs once. Now that your cruise boost is active, continue facing the case and move to the left and right to swing the ball. You're trying to build up the ball's momentum so when it clips away from you, you'll be forced inside the case. Once the ball starts swinging quickly, like so, stand next to Mr. Krabs during one of its swings to the right. The ball should then swing to the left, and as the ball looks like it's about to leave you, hold down the analog stick to walk toward the case and press the cruise bubble button as the ball leaves you. This should clip you into the glass case where you can collect the golden spatula. And you probably guessed by now that it's called L clipping because you press the L button to clip yourself in. Pretty simple, right? If you're having trouble with this method, you can use the elbow method instead. This method is 15 to 18 seconds faster than the one I just showed you, so if you find this one easier, you should definitely use it. Some people find it more difficult, however, so just use whichever one you feel comfortable with when you start doing runs. Some fundamental information on L bowling first. It's performed by using cruise boost inputs or pressing the bubble bowl and cruise bubble buttons on the same frame while not standing against flat ground. Doing so will cause Spongebob to perform a bowl with one frame and no collision, meaning he can clip through the glass case on this frame if you're moving fast enough. So to set this up, just go to the corner and start walking down into the direction of this glass case. As you're walking down, line up the edge of the case with this pattern on the pillar over here. Now as you're walking down into the cage, and if you're lined up correctly, tap the jump button to perform a short jump, and you should be lodged between the case and the pillar like this. Now continue walking down into this area for a couple of seconds. Once you're deep into this area like this, quickly turn the control stick southwest and input cruise bubble and bubble bowl on the same frame. So what you're doing is flicking your control stick to force yourself out of this area. And as you're being forced out, use the L bowl tech to capture the speed at which you were forced out of the case. Because the bowling shot has forward momentum, and due to not having collision the instant you do it, it pushes you forward into the case, clipping you through. This method does sound easier on paper because it is less complex. However, it requires much faster and more precise inputs to perform. The first method I explained is a lot slower paced and more guaranteed, especially if you're new to speedrunning this game. In that case, 15 to 18 seconds won't make a difference at all when you first start. I'd say for now, just use the one you're better at. Just be honest with yourself regarding how often you perform either of them successfully, and choose based on that. One final thing, guys, if you really want to see this community grow, you should hit that like button for this video.
Okay. Now you guys are ballroom experts. You've got the spatula in here somehow, whichever way you chose to do it. Pause that game. Go to complete the rolling ballroom. You can walk to the end here, or you can just turn around and cruise boost. Whichever. Doesn't really matter. Obviously, cruise boosting is a little bit faster, but yeah. Alright. Now, after this, we should have 52 spatulas and 26 socks. What do you know? We have 52 spatulas and 26 socks. So now we're going to warp all the way back to on top of Shady Shoals
Oh,
again.
I'm quick.
And we're going to go to Sand Mountain. So turn around. Make sure you get the sock on top of the fountain. Which you get by hitting the fountain, by the way. You got to hit the fountain to get it. Getting the shivers, I'm kind of cold. Okay. We're ready. This level is almost entirely self-explanatory, so I'm not gonna go into much detail. On a basic level, it's very self-explanatory. Advanced stuff, a little bit more tricky, but you know, from a basic standpoint, just make sure that you're hitting the right tikis. Like try to follow my lead when it comes to the combos and stuff. Like hit the explosive tikis that I hit and whatnot.
Just met the sponge
If you only have 4 pairs of underwear, just avoid. I'll tell you which one to avoid, but if you have 5, just do as I do. Make sure you follow him until he throws the missile to juke him out as well, by the way. Alright, so this upcoming set of Thunder Tikis, if you have 4 pairs of underwear max, like if you only got 1 pair of golden underwear, skip that one. Because you need enough to survive the bottom of the slope. But you should be fine either way. Make sure you get this sock over here. And I would recommend personally getting this checkpoint in case you die, because you lose a lot of time if you die. Yeah, you can do that to get the thing. You can also do the same thing I did there, except like stand here with the duplicator to do it. There are a bunch of ways you can get this button. It's not too difficult. Alright, I'd recommend blowing this stack over here to make sure you get enough shiny objects for later. I think at this point you should have enough. If you have over 3,000, you're fine. Like, you only need 3K. Get this sock under the bridge. To get on top of this, you can like kick it to get on top, or you can like do a double jump ledge grab, whichever one you want, it's fine. If you do a double jump lasso stall, you can do that to get up, or you can do the classic, you know, swing back and forth. That was a pretty limp dick swing, I will say myself. That was not very good. Yeah. Tap these if you need it. If you don't get the spatula, if you fail to get the spatula and you fall into the ditch and the spatula is still there, you can just pause the game and warp to top of the lodge. And doing that will put you back there as Sandi so you can try again. But now we have 56 spatulas and 32 socks, so we're going to pause the game and go to we're going to pause the game and go to on top of the chum bucket.
Oh, I'm quick.
Because yeah, we skip both of the major boss fights before Robo Spongebob, so it's not like, yeah. We don't have Mr. Krabs here yet. This category is nice because there are no boss fights. Also, I'm really tired. I've been up all day. Okay, campers. This is a more movement-intensive part of the run. And I think a good way of handling this would probably be just, I'll show you. So, first off, get your cruise boost off of this box. Now, make sure you touch this area here, this platform, because touching this platform, when you die and oh, okay, never mind, it already spawned. So if you touch that platform, this leaf here spawns. You need that to get back up here. So when you do that, do a double jump spin. You can use a bowling shot to get rid of the cruise boost and hit this button. So do that. That's camper number 1. Now you can just go back down. This is what I would recommend doing personally. Just jump back down. Get another one. Now this time go straight over here and try to bounce so you land on that button. Like do something to get over here. But yeah, I'll do that again. That's one way of doing it. But yeah, once you've already gotten that, just like try to focus on. Maybe you can go this way. See that trampoline in the background? You can double jump, spin, slam, and jump up here. That's another way of doing it. But yeah, pretty much you have to make sure you get the camper. Find some way to get across. Yeah, I would recommend getting the camper, getting rid of your cruise boost before getting the camper. And then when you do it again, do the same thing, but this time, kind of like line it up. So you can double jump, spin, slam, and you can get up here. Now once you're up there, jump straight to this platform, and use these leaves to get up and grab this sock. And then you can go over here and get this camper. Now this is actually a newer strat. You can go over here, jump on top of the stone tiki, jump up here to this checkpoint. You can get up here. If the stone tiki breaks on you for whatever reason, from hitting the thunder tikis, there's a way to get back up. You make sure you get the word from Mrs. Puff. By the way, do not avoid Mrs. Puff when you talk to her. You can bash up here. You can bash up here. Turn around and slam onto this thing. I forgot to mention too that if you hold down the jump button while you slam, you get a little bit higher. Like if you do this, you get a little bit of a higher jump. Touch the camper trigger and drown into this sock over here. And if you did this successfully, you should respawn by this catapult with teeter-totter. And then you can grab the spatula and you're good to go. And you're going to pause the game, warp to through the woods. And because you touched the checkpoint, this leaf should be here. You can just jump up and enter this. Alright, Kelp Vines. This level is pretty simple. I'm going to teach you a very easy way of doing this. Make sure you set the time prompt. You can set this up by standing under the bridge here. Under the vine, actually. Do it so like your head's kind of like stuck in this big thick, this dummy thick vine right here, and just do two full double jumps left and right, and you'll eventually get it. It's pretty, pretty easy. Once you do that, you should have the timer active, trigger point. And now we're going to go to Kelp Caves. Kelp Caves uses a trick called L clipping. It's not very difficult. You just have to make sure that you approach the rock at the right angle and mash the L button and like make sure you don't jump too early. That's pretty much it. So you pause the game, warp to through the Kelp Caves. You can cruise boost off of this wall here, but cruise boosting out the box is also an option too. In that case, you can just like double jump here and bash up to get the sock. Now, camper skip, the classic. It's the iconic skip of this category. Face this kind of like this ball sack, dicky ball statue over here. So you're kind of like facing the center of the balls. And you're gonna thread the needle on the ball sack, mash the L button, and when you clip through, you're gonna just hold the A button to jump. Just like that. And when you do that successfully, just pause the game and go back to through the Kelp Caves. But yeah, all I did there was I'll show you again. Okay, thread that needle on the dicky balls. All you gotta do is just hold down the A button, mash L, and hold the A button again. You should get it. Really simple. Then pause the game, warp to through the Kelp Caves, and here we are. Just exit out the back. This is all self-explanatory here. It doesn't need to be explained. Just know that after you get the spatula, instead of warping like you would in NSPA, you're just going to drown. Just drown here. Now we're going to get the rest of the campers. So you can cruise boost off this edge here. If you can't get it here, you can do it off of this box. And you can do like a double jump slam. That works too. I personally would recommend doing it off the bridge though, because it's really close by. So you can jump off. Get this sock over here. Now, when you do this, make sure that you double jump, spin, slam, but do not press anything when you get to here. When you see the screen, do not panic. If you press the A button, you're going to lose a lot of shiny objects, and if you do that, you got to go back to Tiki's Go Boom and grind for more shiny objects. When you see the screen, press B. Now, you're still doing nothing, right? You're still doing nothing. Now, without pressing anything on the controller, do not press the, do not move the analog stick or anything. If you move the, if you move your control stick, the sleepy time will detect you. But if you press the Y button, whatever button it is to bash, you can do that. Okay, I'm very surprised. I didn't know that actually. It's real. I don't know why that just happened. That shouldn't have happened. But anyway, you should get across either way. That's fine, I guess. But you got the camper. Now you just got to cruise boost off of somewhere if that happened to you. I really don't like this for beginners because I guess this is actually a good area. I think, yeah. Cruise boost off that gate over there. Okay. Jump on the melon and like do a little bash up. You can, actually no, it doesn't work. Never mind. Just jump on the rock. Jump on the rock, pretty simple. There's a sock over here, make sure you get it. Now we're pretty much home free. There's one more camper back here. Once you get in, pause the game, warp to find all the lost campers. And when we get out of this segment, we should have 63 spatulas and 37 socks. Like so. And we're almost done. So you pause the game. Now you scroll to top of the chum bucket, and we're gonna split.
Oh, I'm quick.
You can cruise boost here if you want to. Just be careful not to re-enable the game. You don't have to though. If you do this, make sure you get the sock. And if you use a cruise boost, you can use that to skip the taxi pad animation. It's a little time save. But yeah, that's cruise boosting's not necessary there if you don't want to. All right, now Dutchman's Graveyard with simple strats. If you want to, you can hit this guy with a cruise bubble. For your first run, maybe do that, or just like try to avoid him. 37. Okay, yeah, we should get 2 socks in here. So we're going to get a cruise boost here. Hit this tombstone, gravestone, whatever. Bash up to get on top of it. If you somehow activate this and miss it, there's another way of getting up. You can just go behind here, hit this thing as a backup, and do wall jumps to get up. And once you're up here, jump over to get this sock. And I would say jump over to this thing here to set up for this next part. Bash up, jump, and spin when you get next to the rock to get rid of your downward momentum, so you can use the cruise bubble and hit this goo tanker. I only slept for 2 hours today. It's a lifestyle, man. Let this guy throw his shit, don't get hit by it. And make sure you turn the camera so it's facing away from the goo. Don't worry about optimizing where you land for now. Just make sure you don't drown. That is key, is just not drowning. Now here we're going to do the same thing with camper skip where you did the L clip. Except this time you're just going to push forward and mash the L button to clip through. And once you've done that, you just turn around. And we're going to go out of bounds to finish the level. Get rid of your cruise boost here as well, I would say. Now, this next part might be a little bit tricky. It's been a while since I've tried to do this without a cruise boost, so I'll show you with both ways, actually. So, you have to get a sock. You need one more sock to finish the run. If you already have 40 socks, great, don't go for this, but if you see the little sparkling under the ship there, it's a sock, so you're gonna do a double jump spin. Okay, never mind. If you mess that up, you can, I think there's a way back up here. Yeah. So I think jump, spin, jump will do it. Some variation of that. Like stand like here, maybe. Jump, spin, jump. Again, I usually get this with a cruise boost, which it's actually easier to get it with a cruise boost. But yeah, you can do it this way too. It's like jump, spin, jump, I think. There you go. Okay, it is jump, spin, jump. There is another way of doing it though, which I would probably recommend doing. Is you can go over here and cruise boost off this box. And it's way easier. You just like double jump spin or whatever you need to do. It's way easier. And if you miss it, you just kind of bash back up and go for it again. Like that. Very easy. You can do this without a cruise boost too. This is what I'm about to do here. You're just gonna run into this and touch the spatula. If you miss it, if you overshoot it or undershoot it or whatever, you can just use the bash to touch it, like kind of like that, like in the air. You can just bash into it if you miss it. But of course, like, it would be smart to get rid of your cruise boost. It's like, just bowl it out and then do it. Once you hit the spatula, pause and go to shipwreck bungee. I'm gonna show you the easiest way, in my opinion, to do this level. So you're gonna jump across here with the yes, and kind of side scale this thing. Now you can go around this way too. You can come in from this entrance as well if you want to, but that way I just showed you just faster. All right, so here I'm gonna show you how to do the wall jumps. Aim for this plank on the right first, and just press A. I have one hand on the controller. I'm just pressing A. I'm just timing my A presses, and look at how much time you have to slide. Sorry, hold on. Look at how much time you have to slide. You have so much time. So just don't panic. All you gotta do is just touch this one thing and just time your A presses. Just time your A presses. Don't move the analog stick, otherwise you'll mess it up. Just time your A presses and you'll make it. It's all good. Don't worry about it. Yeah, very easy. Cannons. Up until this point, you've done so much cruise boosting, you'll probably want to do it here too, but I'll give you an option not to if you don't want to. That was funny. I just got a ledge grab and didn't get attracted. Cruise boost here. Use a spin attack to hit that. Now, you can just do a little bit of platforming on these things. If you don't want to do those jumps, you can just switch to Sandi here. It's basically the same thing. Like you would just come up here, and instead of going straight to the platforms, you go to the bus stop and then the platforms. But then you have to switch back, so you still have to switch back to activate the button. So yeah, just get rid of your cruise boost, hit that. And I think we're doing Dutchman skip in this tutorial. Yeah, we are. Okay. Yeah, so make sure you hit the button. You have to hit this button to unlock the Dutchman's fight, so you have to, yeah, just make sure you do that. Alright. Guys, we're almost done. I really hope people enjoy this category and give it a chance, because I think it has a lot of potential. So you pause the game, warp to the only silver spatula in the menu, defeat the Flying Dutchman. Now, this one's a little bit more tricky than the other ones. So what you're gonna do is get a cruise boost over here by this plank. Now the motion I'm doing is I'm gonna sit here on this edge and kind of eyeball. You see this wood chip in the this side of the screen? This little wood chip there. I'm gonna eyeball that. So the motion I'm gonna do is I'm gonna like face it like this, kind of like let myself drift into it. Press the Y button, hold to the right. Oh, okay. If this happens, you have to reload the level. So just pause the game and come back. All right. So I'm gonna show you. I do Dutchman skip with a pretty easy setup. Just gonna like press Y, hold to the right, press Y, and hold to the left. So that again. Press Y, hold to the right, press Y, hold to the left. Ready? Y, right, Y, left. I messed it up because I'm bad. But yeah, I don't really do this method. I do a faster method. It's a little bit harder. But you can actually climb back up and get back up here if you fall. So as you just saw there, just like if you missed what I just did, rewind it and watch again. Just kind of climb back up from out of bounds. You don't have to reload the level and do that. When you're new, you want to avoid getting rid of your cruise boosts as much as possible. Whatever you can do to avoid getting rid of your cruise boosts, just do it, because it can take you a long time to get another one again if you're new. Yeah, again, like, watch. Y, hold right, Y, hold left, slam. Let me watch it in slow motion. Now you're gonna get stuck here. Get stuck on this wood chip here and face it so the little tip of it is on your head. Now you're gonna do here is line it up, this one wood chip with the indent of the wood on the that I'm facing right now. See the wood with the sea reflections on it? The little chip that I'm facing? You're trying to aim for that. So you're gonna tap the A button as lightly as possible, and immediately after you tap the A button, mash Y and press B. Slam. So again, I'm talking Xbox terms. You're gonna have to translate it to whatever console you're using if you're not using Xbox. This works on all consoles, by the way. This works on all consoles, so. Tap Y, mash, slam. Free. Now you make your way over here. Kind of get yourself stuck here, and you see that little smokestack? There are 3 smokestacks. You're aiming for the one on the left. You're gonna do a full jump and a spin to go directly to the left, so like a little bit to the left of that smokestack there. So, just like that, and you should nail it. Dutchman skip. Side note, if you want to practice that, make sure you make your practice file not have that done, because if you have it done, you'll soft lock the game by doing it twice, because you don't have to worry about it in runs. It'll never happen in a run, because there's no reason why you would do that skip twice in a run if you already got it once. But yeah, if you're making a practice file for that skip, make sure you don't complete it and then save, because you'll just soft lock your game every time. So now you have 70 spatulas. Oh, okay. My bad. This should say 70. The split file should say 70 spatulas. Like that, yeah. Okay. You should have 70 spatulas being done here. So you're going to pause the game, warp to Mr. Krabs, and split.
Oh, I'm quick.
See, I made a mistake. It should say 70 and 40. So now you're going to talk to Mr. Krabs.
So that
You got your 1 spatula from him. And once you get that 1 spatula from Mr. Krabs, you're going to walk over to Patrick and trade in your 40 socks. So you notice how the Poseidon is still locked because you get to skip it. That's why this category is so good. You don't have to fight the bosses. Alright, we have one more cheesy tutorial for you guys to watch. Now we have 75 spatulas, pause the game, warp to a wall jump in the chum bucket. We have one more cheesy tutorial, boys.
They don't serve love.
Okay, this covers the entire fight, so I'm just going to let you guys watch it. Enjoy.
Look at that guy with that big square head and those short shorts. That's the most hideous thing I've ever seen.
Wait, that hideous thing looks like me.
And here we are, folks, the main event. Today I'll show you how to skip both parts of the final fight in SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom. This is done by activating an invisible trigger on top of the spawn platform in phase 1 to skip it, then boosting down to the lower level in the second phase to skip right to the brain and finish off the fuses inside of it. This actually makes the second phase of the fight easier than playing it casually. So even if you aren't a speedrunner, this can be very useful in a casual playthrough if you get stuck. Very few skips in this game are easier than the intended method, so take what you can get. Now before you begin, you must disable hands, the hand that pulls you back into bounds when you leave bounds. Just go to Bikini Bottom, lay next to the left of this taxi pad with this camera angle. When the hand pulls you over the pad, accept the prompt, go back to the same spot and lay there again. You should be pulled into the loading zone for Jellyfish Fields, disabling the hand. This is critical for your success in the second phase of the fight. Now on to the fight itself. To start off, when you load the level and use the cruise bubble instantly, you'll benefit from invincibility frames. This means that for your first cruise bubble, if you're quick enough, you'll be invulnerable, so you can use this to hit one of the lights on Robo Spongebob straight out of the gate. Now if you quickly activate another cruise bubble immediately after the first hit, you can hit him a second time and summon Roboplankton. Now you probably haven't been paying much attention to his placement up until this point, but Roboplankton can appear on either side of the starting platform at any distance from you. So pay attention after the second hit to see where he comes from, and aim the cruise bubble in the general direction in which you think he's headed. Keep in mind that sometimes he may stop to juke you out, which you should be prepared for as well. Occasionally the cruise bubble can clip through the hitbox of Roboplankton, so I recommend manually detonating the cruise bubble once you're in range of him. Just hit the cruise bubble button or trigger once you touch him to assure the hit lands. Now at this point the big Bob should be waking up from his nap. Before he wakes up you should position yourself in the left side of the platform, facing the right side in preparation to run. You must stand on the left side before the robot attacks you. Otherwise, he'll hit the opposite side of the platform and mess up your setup to skip the fight. As Robobob approaches, walk to the right side of the platform and stand on the edge. For this part, I can give you advice, but it ultimately comes down to getting a feel for it. It's hard to articulate the exact movement because it's very feel-based, but I'll try my best. Just focus on the visual and sound cues when you're trying to practice on your own, and you'll eventually get a feel for it. The visual cue is the karate glove colliding with the platform. The sound cue is the thumping sound from when Robo-Sponge hits the platform. Now when you're on the right side of the platform anticipating the attack, walk to the right and full jump at the same time when the glove hits the platform, which is also indicated by the thumping sound I played earlier. If you focus on these two cues in the basic movement of walking and doing a full jump, you'll eventually start to get a feel for it. And by full jump, I mean holding down the jump button to maximize your jump height. Don't tap the button, hold it down. Now if you do this successfully and travel straight up, you should hit the trigger to skip the first phase. If you miss the trigger, you should try double jumping at the peak of your height, and sometimes you'll barely touch it if you were slightly off. If that doesn't work, follow the ground and reset the attack cycle. Then jump on the trampoline here and land on the platform to the right of it. Now this is not the platform with the trigger over it, so what you're going to do is set up the trick exactly the way I explained before. Then, instead of letting yourself fly straight up, pull to the right and use your double jump if you have to touch the trigger above the platform to your right. If you're having trouble boosting into the air, there are a couple of things you can do to judge whether you were too early or too late on your jump. If you hop over the platform and get no height, you were too early. If you spin around the platform or take damage from the karate chop, or both, you were too late. Calibrate your jump knowing these two things and you should be able to get the timing down. Now once you hit the trigger, pay attention to your controller vibration as the cutscene starts. Despite being in an active cutscene, the world around you is still moving in real time while it's going on. So if you skip the cutscene before Spongebob lands on the ground from that big jump he just did, the spatula collection animation will be forced to activate after you enter the next level, which isn't desirable because it's very slow and it's easy to skip if you just wait for yourself to fall. When Spongebob lands, your controller will vibrate. Skip the cutscene after the controller vibrates, as this means you've landed and the spatula animation has started. Therefore, the spatula animation won't start when the next level loads. Controller vibration is a great way for getting a feel to when to skip the cutscene. I don't personally use vibration, but I recommend it to anybody starting as it can be very helpful. And now it's time for the second phase. This part is very simple. Just bowl the Duplicatotron after jumping on this trampoline, stand to the left of it on this edge of the platform like so. So the Hammerbot may spawn and try to hit you before the thing blows up, but if it doesn't, the duplicator will still explode and send you down, so it covers both possibilities. You should have the hand disabled at this point, by the way. If you get caught by the hand here, it probably means you missed that part of the video. I recommend going back and rewatching it if this happened to you. But if you already disabled the hand, great. You should be sent downward into the fuse by the electric gate. Just hit that thing and jump onto the trampoline that spawns to enter the final segment of the fight. You'll notice that Roboplankton won't appear in this part, and that's because he's still waiting for you to defeat the robots on the first platform. So all you have to do is use the cruise bubble on all 3 fuses and you win. The first phase is what you'll need.
Oh, what do you know, boys? We're already here. Woohoo! And time. Alright, well, there you go. That's how you run this category. Hope you enjoyed. I'm gonna upload the splits so you guys can use them. And, yeah. It's fun. If you're thinking about doing this instead of NSPA as your first category, go ahead. You know, be a pioneer. It's been done before. It's not impossible. It's a little bit harder, I think, because it requires more cruise boosting, but if you understand cruise boosting, the rest of it's not that bad, honestly. You should be okay. Some of the movement's a little bit tricky, but you'll get it down. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, just go for it. It's a good time. So I'll upload this. What do I owe you guys? I owe you guys the split file. I owe you guys some links. I owe you guys like some kind of like a video link. I don't remember what it was. Yeah, I'm probably gonna run CBC for the entire month of May. Strangely. That's probably what's gonna happen. Yeah, I'd have to rewatch the video. I said I was gonna post a link to some video. I can't. I'll watch the beginning again. But yeah, I'm gonna link the playlist for sure. I'll link the other category tutorial as well. I'll link everything. I'll put it all in there. But this should have helped. Hopefully it did. Hopefully some of you feel encouraged to make this your first category for running the game. See who's CBC gang, who's NSPA gang. They're both fun. Both good categories. So yeah. Hope you had fun watching. I think this worked out much better this time. With the interjected tutorial videos. I think it worked out much better. Instead of saying, yeah, go watch this instead, like it worked out much better just playing them in the middle. It helped save me some breath too and think about what I'm gonna do next, so yeah, it's good, it's nice. I just love this. You like the dick and balls? Yeah. I know. Also, what's up? Yeah. Well, you got another option now. So, thanks for watching. I'm gonna cut off the video here. I'm gonna upload it to YouTube. So yeah, check it out. Deeply consider good. I'm probably going to make a 100% tutorial sometime this summer. Probably not anytime soon. But you guys have, there's also a cheap percent tutorial, and what's it called now? NCR, no code restrictions. So you have a tutorial for NSBA, a tutorial for CBC, and a tutorial for NCR. You have those 3 categories with tutorials now. They're all going to be in the playlist, so check them out. Whichever one you choose, have fun. Make sure you join the BFBB Discord so you can get help and assistance and all that good stuff. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Come to twitch.tv/shift to ask questions if you have them. I'm usually live every day playing this game, so if you have a question, I'll be glad to answer it for you and help you out. Alright, have fun.